This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. A brewery in Aurora, Indiana is embracing the power of small business. For 16 years, Dan Vallis and his family have run the Great Crescent Brewery, but beginning next year, it will shift into downtown Aurora's only grocery store. Vallis said he couldn't find anyone to take over the brewery, and after the only other grocery store in Aurora closed last year, it just made sense to support his community in a new way.
A small family business can be successful. It can be serving their community. I think people need to understand small communities in the Midwest and really anywhere, they need people to believe in them and support them.
The new store will be called Aurora Marketplace. Vallis said it will be much smaller than a supermarket, but it'll have fresh produce, a deli counter, and maybe a bakery. Indiana University is teaming up with Indiana Biosciences Research Institute to create what they are calling a joint center of excellence to develop better personalized care for patients with diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's disease, and pediatric rare disease. The two institutions said in a statement Wednesday the operation will be called the Joint Center of Excellence for Point-of-Care Precision Medicine. At its launch, about 15 people will be working on initiatives related to the Joint Center. The new center is an extension of the $250 million investment into bioscience that IU announced in October of last year. Founding members of the Joint Center will include the IU School of Medicine, Indiana Biosciences Research Institute, and IU Indianapolis's Convergent Bioscience and Technology Institute, the Institute for Human Health and Well-Being, and Integrated Nanosystems Development Institute. The consortium could add new members as it grows. The institutions are using the term point of care to emphasize that a standard dose of a certain medication distributed to tens of thousands of patients might not be the right approach for a single patient. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the Indiana Economic Development Corporation invite you to the Engage Indiana series, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. With an unrelenting focus on growing Indiana's economy, our Engage Indiana events take place in every region of the state. Discover when we'll be in your area at ibj.com/engage.
Breeze Airways on Tuesday announced it will be offering nonstop service from South Bend International Airport to Washington Dulles International Airport in November. The news comes just a month after the airline announced plans for a new service to Orlando and Fort Myers in Florida. The new service to Washington, D.C. will begin November 8th, just one day after the new service to Orlando begins, and it will run Monday and Friday. The airline said one-way fares will start at about $50. South Bend will be Breeze's second home of operations in Indiana. Last November, the airline announced service to Orlando from Evansville Regional Airport, which began in February. South Bend-based startup company Solvion Engineering has licensed a novel brine cleaning solution from the University of Notre Dame. Co-invented by two Notre Dame professors, the patent-pending technology uses a proprietary solvent to extract clean water from high salt content water. A byproduct of fracking, oil production, lithium mining, and certain types of chemical manufacturing, high salt content wastewater can harm the environment and represents a wasted resource, especially in water-scarce areas. Solvion CEO Brendan Ryan mentioned that the company is planning to scale up solvent production, create a demonstrator prototype, and eventually bring the technology into industrial plants. And the Gene Shepherd Community Center in Hammond is embracing pickleball. The city of Hammond announced the center will house 12 indoor courts and partner with a local pickleball club to offer clinics, leagues, and tournaments beginning in early November. Other improvements at the center include updating food and drink options. The scope and cost of the improvements is unclear. City officials have not returned messages seeking information from Inside Indiana Business. The city says it's also adding 3 pickleball courts in Pulaski Park. And the Indiana Chamber of Commerce on Tuesday announced Madison as its 2024 Community of the Year. The chamber cited the city's ongoing housing and business sector expansion and revitalized downtown in its selection for the annual award. Chamber CEO Vanessa Green Cinders said in a news release that Madison is fast becoming a regional hub for business in addition to serving as an epicenter for recreational and leisure activities. The city was chosen by a 5-person Indiana Chamber panel who reviewed nominations made by the communities themselves or outside individuals. The award follows other recognitions Madison has received this year, including being named the #1 small town in the Midwest by USA Today's 10 Best Readers' Choice Awards. Carlotta Berry, a trailblazing professor of computer engineering at Rolls-Holman, is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.